Hello, everybody, and welcome back to College Basketball Courtside. You guys, today I'm going to be covering the top 10 players in the Big 12 this upcoming season. Super talented conference this year. A lot of great players. We're going to get straight into it, starting off with number 10, the big man from Kansas, Flory Badunga. Sophomore, 6'10", 235 pounds. Let's go over his stats from last season at Kansas as a freshman. He averaged 5.9 points, 5.4 rebounds, 0.8 assists, 1.6 blocks. And this is all in 16 minutes per game. Obviously playing behind Hunter Dickinson, he was only used sparingly to kind of give him a break, more used for defense. But he did shoot a staggering 69.8% from the field. He didn't attempt a single three-pointer, and he shot 53.3% from the free throw line. You guys, Flory Badunga, if you watch any of the Kansas games last year, you saw how that team changed when he was in. He obviously doesn't have the back-to-basket or the scoring like Hunter Dickinson did, but he is an awesome defender. He's a monster down low. He is very hard to score on. He rebounds the crap out of the ball. He is a great shot blocker, 1.6 blocks in the 16 minutes per game. So let's get into his strengths. Like I said, he's a great physical athlete, great size, 6'10", 235, only a sophomore. He's only getting bigger. He's an elite shot blocker. He's a huge lob threat. He is a great vertical. He's super athletic. He has a lot of bend to him as well. He was a highly rated recruit, McDonald's All-American. And then his interior defense. He's hard to move, 235 pounds, 6'10", great length. He's pretty big, tough guy to move around. So that is where he brings, all the strengths for Kansas, is a lot with his physicality, his size, his defense, and he does have some pretty glaring weaknesses, though. Let's get into those. The first one being his shooting touch. I mean, he shot 53% from the line. He doesn't bring any floor spacing at all, not even attempting a single three. He's someone you can just stay in the paint. Obviously, with no defensive 3-second rule in college, you can just guard him by standing right in the paint. He struggles with fouls. He averaged 2.2 fouls per game in just 16 minutes. That's something to look for as he's a starting center. They're going to need him on the floor to set, good screens for someone else on this list, to rebound, defend. They need him out there. He was such a difference maker when he played last year, but he has some trouble fouling. He also has very little ball skills. He's not going to catch and rip by a guy. He's not going to dribble into anything. He is not going to put the ball on the ground at all. And also, can he score without Darren Peterson? Is he going to be able to score without a guard setting him up? We haven't seen any back-to-basket game. Has he gotten any of that this offseason? We'll see. But that's number 10, Flory Badunga. He's going to have a good year. Now, number 9, Christian Anderson, the guard from Texas Tech. Sophomore as well, 6'3", 178 pounds. And last year at Texas Tech, he averaged 10.6 points, 3 rebounds, 2.2 assists, and 1.2 steals. He shot 43% from the field, shot 38% from 3 on 5.3 attempts per game, and he shot 80.2% from the free throw line. His accolades, he was all Big 12 freshman team. And then also this past summer, he led Germany to the FIBA U19 championship game against the United States. They ended up losing, but he played fantastic in that tournament. But he had a great offseason. Now, what are some of his strengths? His three-point shooting. He is knocked down. That's the number one thing with Christian Anderson, is his shooting. 38% on 5.3 attempts. He's going to have even more attempts this year. He's gotten much better. He's filled out his frame a little bit. That's going to help. He's a great defender. He's very pesky. He's pretty athletic as well. So he's a great defender, especially on the ball. Great change of pace. He doesn't play at one speed. He really shifts his tempo up and down, up and down. He's hard to stay in front of and hard to guess what he's going to do next. And he has elite handles. Again, very shifty with that change of pace. Knockdown shooter, great at hesitations and getting to the lane. But he does have some weaknesses. He has a small frame. He has 6'3", which is okay size for a point guard, but only about 180 pounds. He is pretty skinny, doesn't have a lot of strength. But let's see if he can put on some more muscle this offseason. He can only guard point guards. He's not going to be able to do that much against shooting guards, especially if they're big, or even big point guards he can struggle against. Interior finishing, he has to be better finishing on the inside. He has an awesome three-point shot. He's a great jump shooter. Just has to round his offensive game out if he wants to take that next step into stardom by finishing at the rim. And he has to have more creative finishes at the rim. He's really only a straight line driver when going in there. Doesn't have too many moves. So did he add to his bag this year? We shall see. But that's number 9, Christian Anderson. He's going to have an awesome year in the Big 12. And so so will Texas Tech. Now, number 8 is Tamin Lipsey, guard from Iowa State. He's 6'1", 200 pounds. He's a senior. Last year, he averaged 10.6 points, 2.6 rebounds, 3.1 assists, and 2 steals a game. He shot 48.4% from the field, 33% from 3 on about 3.5 attempts, and then he shot 75.8% from the line. Some of his accolades from last season: he was all Big 12 third team, he was the Big 12 defensive team, and he was a Naismith Defensive Player of the Year finalist. And that is the number one strength of Lipsey. He is a all-American defender. Probably the best perimeter defender in the Big 12, and if not the country. He is fantastic. He's been a great defender for Iowa State for multiple years. Now he kind of takes on that lead role spot with a couple of guys graduating and transferring. He's that guy. He's always been consistent at Iowa State, but can he take that next jump up with his defense? Now we need to see it with his offense. Attacking the rim, he's really good at. He's 200 pounds. He's very physical. He's kind of a bowling ball. He can get in there. He's very strong. He's a high motor. Again, he's physical. He'll put your shoulder into someone's chest to finish through them, which really helps him out not being a knockdown shooter. He's a true point guard. He's a leader. He's a playmaker. He hustles. He leads by example. He's that classic college point guard that is tough. Think of Zakai Ziegler. Kind of reminds me of his game a little bit, but does have some pretty glaring weaknesses. The first one being he's only about 6 foot, 6'1". Now, while he is physical, that's not going to help on a tall point guard shooting over the top of you. He's not an elite scorer. He's always kind of been around 10 points per game. They've had some good guards there at Iowa State that have taken some more shots. So can he be that leading scorer this year at Iowa State, or maybe the number 2 guy on the offensive end? We shall see. He's not a great 3-point shooter. Again, 33% on about 3.5 attempts. Doesn't shoot him a ton. He is capable. We have to put kind of a hand up, but he's not knocked down. Needs to improve his game. And now we haven't seen that much improvement over the years with him. Again, defensively, he's been All-American. He's fantastic. That is his calling card. That's what he's going to lean on. But offensively, we need to see more of a jump. Even with other players coming in, you need to separate yourself as that guy, especially with him starting and playing a lot of minutes. That is the last weakness for Tamin Lipsey, but he comes at number 8. He's going to have a great year for Iowa State. Now, coming in at number 7, another All-American defender, and going to be probably my pick for Defensive Player of the Year in the country, Joseph Tugler. The forward, kind of plays a small ball center sometimes for Houston. Talk about the perfect guy for Samson over there at Houston. He's 6'8", 230. He's going to be a junior this year. He played on the team last year. He averaged 5.5 points, 5.9 rebounds, about 1 assist, 1.9 blocks, 1 steal. Shot 52% from the field, 27% from 3 on 0.3 attempts per game, which is really nothing, and then 53.8% from the line. He was the Lefty Dreisel Award for the best defensive player in the country, Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, all-conference third team. You guys, he was all-conference third team, and he averaged the same stats as Flory Badunga, essentially, on the offensive end. 5.5 points, 6 rebounds. But he is just such a good defender that he changes the game completely. 6'8", 230. He's big. He's physical. It's reported a couple different ways. 7'4" to 7'6" wingspan about. So he has great length. He's a great athlete. Physical, high motor, and again, he's the best defender in the country. He brings so much to this Houston team. He anchors that defense. They're going to be fantastic this year because of him locking down the inside and a little bit down the perimeter. But some of his weaknesses, again, pretty glaring. Most of them going to be offensive. He has no self-creation. He's not going to get his own shot if needed. He has to be set up. He's more of a lob threat. He fouls a lot. Again, with being such a good defender, he thinks he can make every play, which you want. You always want him to do that. That does lead to some foul trouble. He doesn't have great touch. No 3-point shooting. 53% from the free throw line. I don't think that's going to really improve this year. Unfortunately, just not a great shooter at all. And again, he only scores on lobs. But that's Joseph Tugler, you guys. He's going to be the number 7 player in the Big 12 this year. He is fantastic. He's going to be such a key piece to that Houston team. But this leads me to number 6, Richie Saunders, guard for BYU. I did not know about him. I forgot. He went on that mission trip for a couple of years. He's back. He's 6'5", 200 senior, averaged 16.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, 1.6 assists, 0.4 blocks, 1.2 steals. He shot 52% from the field, 43% from three on 5.2 attempts, and 83.5% from the line. He was first team All Big 12, Big 12 most improved player. He had a fantastic season for an overachieving BYU team, and look out for BYU this year. More on that in a separate video. But his strengths, the number one thing that should stand out is his jump shooting in general. 52% from the field, 43% from three, and 83.5% from the line. That is so dang efficient. On 5 attempts from three as well, he's just a shooter. He makes shots. That's what he does. He makes good shots, and he takes good shots. He doesn't take that many bad shots. He has a great floater and in-between game. You have to close out on him because he'll make you pay from three, but if you close out too hard, he's happy to take a dribble in, knock down a jumper, take a few dribbles in, float over the big man. He's fantastic in between. Great hustle, great IQ. That shows with the steals, about 1.2 with being an underwhelming athlete, and also his field goal percentage. You know he's taking great shots. So look out for him, but he does have some weaknesses. Playmaking, only 1.6 assists, being the star on the team, leading scorer, being that guard. He needs to be able to play make a little bit more. Not a high-level athlete, can struggle on defense sometimes, can struggle getting to the hoop at times, and he struggles with one-on-one creation because of this, because he doesn't have a great athlete, or maybe not the sharpest handle ever. We can just kind of sauce guys up, and he's a fine defender. He hustles a ton. He has great heart, but that lack of athleticism kind of holds him back. But that is number 6, Richie Saunders. I think he's going to have such a good year at BYU for a very scary BYU team. Now, this leads me to number 5, his teammate, freshman phenom AJ Debnsa. He's a guard, forward. Think Tracy McGrady, kind of a tall shooting guard. He's 6'9", 210 pounds. He's a freshman. Some of his stats were hard to find. At Utah Prep his senior year, only looked like he played a few games. So these are his stats from the U19 FIBA Cup that Christian Anderson also played in. This is 7 games worth, so small sample size. So take these with a little bit of grain of salt, but still points out some of his strengths and weaknesses. 14.3 points, 4 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 0.3 blocks, 1.2 steals, 50% shooting from the field, 11% shooting on 2.6 attempts from three, 84% free throw shooting on 7 attempts a game. That is crazy. He's getting 7 attempts a game in FIBA, where you're not getting those USA calls all the time. He is fantastic. He won the MVP, McDonald's All-American, Peach Jam Offensive MVP, and that is the name. That's his game, scoring at all levels. He is a top-tier athlete, great strength, great length. He has a high release. He can shoot over anybody with that 6'9" frame as well. So if the shooting guard's guarding him, he's going to go right over the top. Even small forwards, you're going to have to be an athletic small forward to get a good contest on him. He has a high release, pretty quick release, good mechanics. That's shown with his 84% free throw shooting. He has a really good blend of skill and athleticism that makes him an offensive hub. Go to him every single time in the offensive end. He should get a touch because he can do so much with the ball in his hands. He's always proved that he can play in a higher echelon of competitors and still produce. Again, with the FIBA U19, he won an MVP. He continues to produce at a high level no matter where he plays. But he does have some pretty glaring weaknesses, actually. His shot selection. This kind of goes with being just uber talented and better than everybody you play. He takes some tough shots. Now, he makes a lot of them, but in college, in the NBA, how's that going to work? We'll see. But shot selection needs to be better. His three-point shooting, 11% on 2.6 attempts, isn't great. I know it's a small sample size, but this has always kind of been his thing. He has good mechanics. He just hasn't quite figured out the three-point shooting. Will he figure that out this year? That's going to be the way to complete his game and get him to that 20 points per game, which I think he can do because of his size and skill. Defensive intensity, again, with him being so good offensively, kind of lacks on the defensive end with his intensity when he has all the tools to be a great defender: size, length, athleticism. Let's see if he kind of locks in defense this year with some better offensive weapons for a good BYU team. If he's not scoring, what is he doing? He's not, a tremendous playmaker. He's not a tremendous rebounder. He's not an all-world defender. What is he going to do if he's not scoring, the way that he should be? Which that's going to happen, right? You're going to have cold nights in college basketball, where defenses are much better than high school. So we'll see what he can do. I think he's going to have such a good year and have, a good case for Big 12 Freshman of the Year and Player of the Year. But that leads me to my number 4 spot, Milos Uzan, guard from Houston, part of that team last year. He is standing about 6'4", 200 pounds. He's a senior, averaged 11.4 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 0.1 blocks, a steal a game, 45% from the field, 42.8% on 3.6 attempts per game from 3, 78% from the line on only about 1.5 attempts. Big 12 second team last year. He's a great decision maker. He had about a 3 assist to turnover ratio. He's the main setup guy for Houston. And he was sharing the ball with, LJ Cryer, Emmanuel Sharp. They had a lot of talented players last year. He's kind of that lead guard now. I think he is a little bit better than Sharp, where he's a better assist man. He can shoot it better, takes care of it better. He is a great decision maker. Spot up shooting, he's efficient. 42.8% from 3 on only about 3.6 attempts. That number should go up, his attempts, because of no more LJ Cryer. Let's see if he can stay around that 40% range with his volume increasing. His defense, he's good at defense. He has great height, 6'4". He has good size and length to defend guards. He's not bad at anything, really. He's just kind of an all-around player. At the D1 level, he's a winner with Houston. He brings that winning mentality. He's a good leader. Again, he plays that lead guard spot, so that's a big strength of his. Is you really have to close out on him. He's gonna make free throws. He's gonna make the right play. He's a great teammate, and everyone wants to play with him. Just a great point guard, but does have some weaknesses. He's not a tremendous athlete at all. Being 6'4" with good length, he only has 1 dunk so far at Houston, which is kind of strange. You would think he would have a couple more steals, wide open dunks, but it's not a great athlete. Little self-creation as a guard. A lot of his comes from straight line drives, catch and rip, pick and rolls. He's not going to be able to get to his own a lot. He doesn't have an advanced handle. It's pretty basic, between the legs, go, crossover, go, maybe a 2 dribble combo, but he doesn't have that, think like Rob Dillingham shiftiness, which I know nobody really does, but he just doesn't quite have that, and we'll see if he can add that to his bag this year. But can he produce similar efficiency and a higher volume? He played 32 minutes a game last year, and I would like to see a little more counting stats out of him. I am someone who I love stats, obviously, but I understand stats don't tell the whole story to someone's game. But being so talented, you have to produce at some point in the stat category, and he should this year, with the ball in his hands a lot. But that leads me to number 3. Talk about ball in his hands a lot. PJ Haggerty, the guard for Kansas State, 6'4", 195 pounds, only a junior. Last year at Memphis, averaged 21.7 points per game. That was top 5 in the country. 5.8 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 1.8 steals. He shot 47.6% from the field on 15 attempts, which is crazy. 36% from 3 on 3 attempts, 81.8% at the free throw line on 7.8 attempts. Here are some of his accolades last year. He was the first player I got to see live in Maui, not live, I'm sorry, but I did watch, that was the first game last year, Maui tournament, and I was like, who is this guy at Memphis? Never heard of him. Such a bucket. He is so good. He was second team All-American, AAC Player of the Year, Naismith Player of the Year finalist, AAC Tournament MVP. Some of his strengths, he has insane efficiency for a 20-point per game guard. For a guy who doesn't shoot a ton of threes and he's in the paint a lot, 47.6% on 15 attempts is crazy. He takes and makes a lot of good shots, also some tough shots as well, but he's a true offensive hub with his playmaking abilities. Let's look at his stats. 3.7 assists on a Memphis team that maybe didn't have all much talent besides him, but he is a solid playmaker at least. He's a great positional rebounder, 5.8 rebounds as a guard, and he has active hands on defense, 1.8 steals per game. He's a very typical just bucket. He's going to go get you one when you need it. He's going to draw fouls. He's going to frustrate you. You're going to hate playing against him because he's so tough to stay in front of and just such a tough shot maker who's been doing it. But does have some weaknesses. Obviously, he averages 22 points per game. He's a pure scorer, but he's not a great three-point shooter. Low volume on 3, only about 3 attempts per game for such a good scoring at that guard position. He's going to need to up that a little bit if Kansas State wants to have a good year, if he wants to be even better. He is efficient, obviously, but he does still take some bad shots. Wish he would not settle as much, but when you're that kind of scorer, that's going to happen at times. But let's see if he can clean up his shot selection just a little bit. but he does turn the ball over a lot, about 3 turnovers a game. Need to take care of it. Again, with him having the ball so much, this is bound to happen. He gains a lot on defense too. He averaged 1.8 steals, and counting stats wise, it's really good, but sometimes it hurts the team because he's always jumping for steals, which is going to leave him out of position, and all of a sudden it's a quick 4-on-5. But that is PJ Haggerty, number 3. I think he's going to be awesome this year. I think he's going to lead this conference in scoring, would be my guess right now. But that leads me to number 2, number 1 player in the country, freshman Darren Peterson for Kansas. You guys, 6'4", 195 pounds, freshman. And these are his stats from his high school season last year. 30.4 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 2.2 steals, 52% from the field, 31% from 3, and about 86% from the line. He was the Naismith Player of the Year, McDonald's All-American. Everyone knows Darren Peterson. Let's get into his strengths. He's a true combo guard. He can play make. He can score. He has great size. He is the true definition of combo guard. They can play both positions, can be that main initiator, playmaker if you need him to be, but can also be the, hey, you stand over there and just give us a bucket when we give you the ball. He can do both. I think he's going to be both for Kansas this year. He has insane length, 6'10" wingspan, which helps with his jumper and his finishing. If you see him run, it's going to look like he has fake arms because they look so long. But that really helps him on the offensive end, get to the lane, have creative finishes, be able to kind of extend out and finish, and it also helps with his jumper, getting that thing in the air. His mid-range shooting, so smooth. He has such a nice pull-up. Again, with that length and that athleticism, that high release is really nice. That is very hard to stop. And finishing at the rim, he's just tremendous at that. But some of his weaknesses, he's not a quick twitch athlete. He's more of a put you in jail. He's not a Russell Westbrook explode or John Wall kind of first step kind of athlete. He has a crazy high usage percentage. He's not as used to being off the ball. I think it's still going to be that way at Kansas. Bill Self said in an interview a couple weeks ago, he's going to be, the main initiator of this offense, and he's going to be asked to do more than any freshman he's ever had. So that is true praise from Bill Self, one of the all-time greats, saying that Peterson's going to have to do that much on the offensive end. But he also is not a great three-point shooter, and he can settle for some threes. It's a compliment to how good he is that I'm kind of nitpicking this. He shot at only 31% in high school. College line's a little further back. Better defenders. Let's see if he can be a better three-point shooter this year and if he's worked on that. But he does settle a little bit. But that's Darren Peterson, you guys. He's going to be such a fantastic player for Bill Self and the Kansas Jayhawks this year. He is going to be unstoppable. Look out for him. But that leads me to number 1, JT Toppin, forward from Texas Tech. He's about 6'9", 210 pounds. He averaged last year 18.2 points, 9.4 rebounds, 1.2 assists, 1.9 blocks, 1.1 steals. Shot 55% from the field, 32% on 1.7 three-pointers per game, and 67% from the line at 67.7% from the line on 4 attempts per game. Last year, he was second-team All-American, Big 12 Player of the Year, Big 12 Newcomer of the Year. He is the best interior scorer in college basketball at this point in time. He was one of the best ones last year. You could probably make the case Janai Broom, but JT Toppin is fantastic on the inside. He's a lefty. He just has such good touch on those floaters, those short rolls. If he posts you up, he'll give you a nice deep sky hook that is pretty frustrating to play against. He's a high motor guy. He's an animal. He wants to win. He wants to block shots. He has quick hands as well. He's a great defender. He just brings it all. He scores, he rebounds, he defends. He is fantastic. I think he's going to win Big 12 Player of the Year again this year. He's that good, and Texas Tech is going to have a great season. But he does have some weaknesses. His three-point shooting is a big weakness. Only 1.7 attempts per game at 33%. That needs to be better if guys want to respect him a little bit more. His playmaking, he has the ball a lot, and he's going to see a lot of double teams. He needs to average more than 1.2 assists per game, and he kind of turns the ball over a little bit. Needs to be smarter. His perimeter defense, he can be a little cement-footed at times where he's moving a little slow, stuck in the mud, but that's only going to get better with time, and hopefully he can work on his foot speed a little bit. And then strength. He's very wiry. If you watch him play, you ask yourself, how can this guy score so easily on the inside? He's kind of that big around. Well, it's because he's still as strong. He's physical. He's uber athletic, great vertical pop, good side-to-side athlete as well on the offensive end. So just kind of, and slithery. He knows how to bend, use his body. He's flexible, but needs to add more strength to be a better player. But you guys, that is my top 10 Big 12 players going into this 2025-2026 season. We saw some freshmen. We saw a lot of duos from multiple teams. This is going to be such a tight race for best player this year, but I'm excited to watch it. This is College Basketball Courtside, and have a great day.